In this video, I'm going to show you the easiest way to set up an AI customer support agent. This agent will have access to your business email and it'll be able to respond to customer support questions and even do things like issue refunds and interact with the Stripe backend. So let's jump right in. A few weeks ago, I was on X and I came across this post from a Jeff Weinstein. He's an employee at Stripe, and I'm going to play it for you guys really quick, just so you have an idea of what we're doing here today.
Hey, it's Matt, and I want to show you how you can automate some of your customer support emails that come in using OpenAI's Agent SDK and the Stripe Agent Toolkit. So some of the most common requests that come in are for things like changing credit card details or updating billing information or downloading the latest invoices. Let's see how we can create an agent to automatically respond to some of these routine requests. So I will go ahead and kick off my agent here, and this agent is effectively watching the inbox for unread emails. Now on the left-hand side here, I've got my support inbox, and on the right-hand side, I've got my customer support email. Let me write into customer support with, I need help updating my billing info. We'll fire off that email and we will hit refresh on the support inbox here. And it looks like the email has come through from the customer, and our agent has picked up on this and is sending the response over to OpenAI to reply. And it looks like we've got a reply here, and looks like we can click on this link to get to our billing portal. And sure enough, here's a direct link to our billing portal where we can update the payment method, the billing information, and download any past invoices. Now let's see how you can configure this for your own app. So I'll jump over to the code here and show you how easy this is. So first we import the OpenAI agent here and the Stripe Agent Toolkit, and then we configure the Stripe Agent Toolkit to be able to read from customers, read from invoices, and create billing portal sessions. And then we instantiate the OpenAI agent to be a helpful customer support assistant and use the tools that are available to it. And then we pass the Stripe Agent Toolkit's tools to the agent to be able to use. And then we just run it. Now, the replying and replying to emails is a little bit out of scope for this demo, but we've created a sample app that you can download and customize to your own needs. We are super excited to see.
So I thought that was really cool when I saw it. So essentially, like I said, the agent connects to your email, and every time you get a new email, it reads the email, crafts a response, sends it back to the user. And if they happen to ask a question related to maybe a payment like Stripe, a refund, then it can also use the Stripe tool to issue them a refund. And like he said, he mentioned something at the end. He said replying is out of scope for this video. And I think that's because I noticed that as they have it now, it doesn't work well with responses. So if you send an email to the agent, the very first email, it will be able to respond. But if you send a reply, it won't be able to catch that reply. Today, we're going to basically fix that problem. And we're also just going to make it a lot easier to deploy and set up. So if you scroll down a bit here, you see that they provided a GitHub link, which is here. Actually, let's click it. It brings you here, and this is the support agent. And you know, it's easy enough to me. It makes sense. They want you to install UV, which is like a package manager, set up the virtual environment, install the dependencies, create your env file, and then you would just run main.py. So to me, this makes sense, but I think if you're not as familiar with Python, probably would be confused a little bit here. You know, you might think maybe this is all you need to do when you actually need to make sure you have Python installed and all that. So I want to make this a little easier for people if you just want to play with this and test it out yourself. Okay, so here is the new repository that I created for the OpenAI customer support tools that the Stripe team made. And here I basically just made it a lot simpler to deploy and set up. So let's look at the support agent here, and I changed the name to support agent. Yeah, friendly. You can name it friendly support agent. So name is friendly support agent, and you are a helpful customer support assistant, casual and concise. You only respond with Markdown. That's important because you want it to respond with Markdown so the emails are formatted properly. If not, it'll just be jumbled up text when the agent responds to emails. Also, use tools to support customers and respond with "I'm not sure" to any other prompts. So let's go ahead and deploy this. One more very important piece of this is the search FAQ function. function tool. So what this does is it can look through the FAQ section of your website and respond to users' questions about your business based on what it knows about it using your website and what you have on your website. So let's go ahead and deploy this really quick. So like I said, the goal here was to make this very, very easy and simple to run. So if you're familiar with Docker, this will be really easy for you. If you're not, all you have to do is install Docker on your machine. And once you get it up, if you have a Mac, just open up your terminal and you would run this command: docker compose up -- build -d OpenAI customer support agent. And this will work because we have our Docker compose file here. So I basically Dockerized the whole, support agent. So this is the config here, and it'll, pull in all the files that it needs. It'll pull in the environment file that it needs. You also need to make sure that you fill in this env file here. And the way it works is you would fill it in with your OpenAI API key, your Stripe secret key, your email address, email password. If you're using Gmail, you will need an app password. So you can click this link here and set that up, and you would put that here. Leave the spaces. So this will give you a password with spaces. You should leave the spaces. Support address, this defaults to your email address, but if your email has access to another email, like let's say your business emails, you can put that here and it will only respond to emails from your business email. And these you don't really need to pay attention to. This is just for connecting to Gmail so it can send and receive your emails. So once you fill all these values in, come open up your terminal and run this command, and it will take a second, probably about 2 full minutes. So give it a while. What it's doing right now is installing all the Python dependencies and packages that this project needs. And this is really good because now you don't need to install Python on your machine. You really don't need to know how Python works. It also helps with just package dependencies. A lot of people have issues when they try to run stuff like this with just Python, even if they're using virtual environments. So we're just going to give this a minute to run. Okay, so we're done. Now we can look at the logs and we see our connection to Gmail was successful, connected to the IMAP server successfully, and we connected to the SMTP server. That's really good. So now we have our agent up and running. Let's go test this out. So if you remember, our agent is connected to this site here, epiphanyvoice.io. This is a site I just found on Product Hunt. I just wanted a site to use as an example. So I just found them. They are I think like a voice AI app, but our agent is set up to work with this site. So we are going to ask our agent some questions about this app. So 2 Epiphany questions. So we said, what is Epiphany? How does it work? Is there an app? So here's our email here. We have no unread emails. So we're going to send that and we are going to watch. So we're going to watch for new emails, and we're also going to watch here, the server. Okay, so we got our email. So this guy should be fetching soon. So, okay, fetch the email. Okay, so we got an error, and if we take a closer look at this error, we can kind of see what's going on here. Expected a string with maximum length of 256,000, but got a string with, over 500K. So the issue was that when you ask the agent a question about your website, for example, it reaches out to the website. So earlier we were using that Epiphany URL, right? But the problem there was that URL returned the whole site, and it was just way too long, right? So this is the trace here, and if we look at it, you'll see this is everything that it returned when it did the search, and it's just way too long, right? It couldn't even get an answer. So this might happen to you when you try this yourself, and just know it just might be that your site returns too much data. So I did find another site on Product Hunt. This one is called Sendbird, and this one works. So we're gonna try with their site. I'm not really sure what they do. Let me see. I didn't really read much about it, but our agent will tell us. And let's go ahead and run this. So all I did was I changed the URL to Sendbird, and we are going to build this again. So now it's running, and in order to save some time, I'm going to come here. I'll delete the response it sent, and I will mark this as unread. So this message says, how does your app work? I'll mark that unread. It is waiting, sleeping. Once it wakes up, it's going to fetch that email. So there it is. It fetched the email. It's going to look at the site and then write a response, and then it will respond. So here's the response here, but it also sent the response to person, and it said 0 minutes. Our app uses AI to create meaningful customer interactions. It has conversational AI agents to help businesses build strong customer relationships, yada yada. So there it is, it works. And this is cool, right? Really cool. So now you have a customer support agent, and when a customer sends an email, it can look at your site. We can even look at the trace here. So let's look at that. So the trace is basically all the steps the agent took to get you your response. So we see here FAQ. So the start of our agent has our prompt. You are a helpful customer support assistant. Be casual, blah blah blah. It has, details, and then it used the search tool to look at the website, right? And then after I looked at the website, came and generated a response, and there's the response. Our app uses AI to create meaningful customer interactions, and that is the exact email that is sent to user. So that was really cool, but we can make this a little bit better. So let's do that. Okay, so here is version 2 of our AI customer support agent. So basically what I did was I added a Telegram tool to the agent. So this allows the agent to send messages via Telegram. And now what happens is when you get a customer support email, the agent retrieves the email, writes a response, sends you the response via Telegram, and now you can respond with either rejecting it, and that will just save the response as a draft, or you can accept it and that will just send the email to the customer. And this kind of gives you a way to track what the agent is doing. And I just think it works a lot better. And that way, you know what's being sent out, so your agent isn't just sending out random emails all day. So let's go ahead and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So for this, I'm going to be giving the agent access to a side project I'm working on called SoFit. So I've told the agent that you're a SoFit customer support assistant, you love the company and the product, be casual and concise. Sometimes emails will include past replies, you use them to inform your response. You only respond with markdown, and also this is very important, before issuing a refund, ensure the customer has a valid reason. A simple explanation is enough. Do not issue a refund without an explanation. So obviously that's really important, and I told it sign off with SoFit support team. So let's go ahead and start that. And this is our Telegram here, and this is our email on the right. So run it, and as soon as we run it, you'll see we got our initialization messages. So SoFit support bot is now online, ready to process your emails, and I'll notify you about new support emails. So we can also look at the log. So now if you look at the logs, you'll see our initialization of SMTP and IMAP for email, and then it'll also say our Telegram bot was initialized successfully, and now you'll see all these HTTP requests. This is because it has to poll Telegram. That way, when you do get an email and you respond, that response will get sent back to the agent. So now let's test that out so you can see what that looks like. So this is Proton Mail. And I'll say, hey, subject is how it works. Hey, how does your application work? And I will send that. So now if we come back here, we'll just wait for the email. Just wait for it. Boom. So there it is there. So it should be coming up here in a second. There it is. And here we are. It says, hey, from Blue Test Agent at proton.com, subject how it works. Hey, how does your application work? That was my message, the draft. Hey there, our app is designed to make your fitness journey smarter and more efficient. Here's how it works. Personalized workouts, blah, blah, blah. And at the bottom, it says send response or save as draft. So I'm going to go ahead and send it. And we can see over here, it triggered and it says finished, and it marked the email as read as well. So if we come over here, we can see, and we see the response. Hey there, our app is designated to make your fitness journey smarter and more efficient. And what's really nice about it is it's formatted very well too, right? And that's why it's important to tell the agent to output this in Markdown, right? So it looks really nice. And check our Proton mail actually. Okay, and I can say, thanks, is there a link to the app in the App Store? So I'll send that over, and we'll just wait again. So we got the email, so now we should be seeing it here in a second. So now they got the email, and now we see it here. Thanks, is there a link to the app in the App Store? Hey there, absolutely. You can download our app from the App Store here or on Google Play here. And it actually sent the links you'll see in the email. So I'll go ahead and send that. And if we check Proton Mail, let's give it a second. And here's the response. Hey, absolutely. You can download our app from the App Store here. Really cool. So I also said it can do refunds. So let's go ahead and try that. So now we're going to see if our agent can handle issuing refunds to customers. And remember, we told it that before it issues refunds, it should always ensure the customer has a valid reason. So on the right here, we have a fake transaction in Stripe and, fake email, John Smith, and we are going to copy this payment ID. Normally, you wouldn't have to copy this because if this was a real transaction, it would be, the user's email, and the agent will be able to just grab their email and, compare it to and find the transaction with their email. But since we're testing it, we're just going to tell the agent exactly which transaction we wanted to refund. So we'll take that, and as we can see, still running. So I'm going to write a new email, sending it to our agent, and we're going to say refund. Hey, I like a refund for this transaction, and we're gonna send it. So now we wait. So we got our email in inbox now. So we wait on our agent. So it grabbed it and it sent the response. Our agent said, could you please provide a reason for the refund request? Once we have that, we can proceed with processing it. Thank you, Selfish Support Team. So as you can see, it works really well. It asks for a reason. So let's go ahead and provide a reason. Not give the email a second to arrive. Oh, actually, sorry, have to send a response. So you see, that's also another good thing. It doesn't just send the email, it does wait for your response. And so here's our response. Could you please provide a reason for the refund request? So I'm going to respond and say, hey, canceled my class before the deadline. It thinks it's like a fitness booking app, so I'm going to tell it cancel before the deadline. So now let's go back to our inbox and we wait for that. So now you see it grab the email, and here's the response. Hey, thanks for reaching out. Processed your refund for the transaction. So let's go ahead and send that. And let's check our email again. There it is. Thanks for reaching out. I processed your refund for the transaction with ID. Since you canceled your class before the deadline, you should see the refund back to your account shortly. So let's go ahead and check Stripe, and if we refresh this, and we see it was actually refunded. So there it is. Now you have a customer support agent that can respond to your customer emails with specific information about your website or your business. And it can also interact with Stripe to do things like issue refunds, change credit card information, maybe things like that. So I think this is really cool. And the cool thing is I don't have to be on my computer. I can walk away and go grab something to eat, and I can still get, messages on Telegram, and it'll be the same process. I'll see the message, I'll respond, or I'll save it as a draft. And yeah, there it is. So I'll put this on GitHub, and if you guys want to add maybe new tools or build upon this, that'd be really cool. And yeah, that's it for me. Peace.